Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Happy Friday. Audio should be working now. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank goodness. Thank you guys for being patient with us. Just had a couple of technical difficulties there, but we are back. It is Friday. We have a packed show planned for today for you guys. A lot of NFL, a lot of rankings discussions, and one of those we're going to spend some time on is ranking the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL and discussing whether or not Amon-Ra St. Brown belongs on that list. It's going to be some fun discussions. We have trivia as well in the second half of the show later towards the end. We're also going to talk about Ben Johnson and his rankings. And I think it was PFF who came out with their offensive coordinator rankings. We'll see where Ben Johnson landed yesterday. But before we do any of that, Sam Flannel, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. You know, nothing gets me going in the morning quite like knowing we are going to break down each other's lists for something, because making lists and giving rankings is probably the thing that I love doing most in the entire world when it comes to sports talk. So I was extra geeked for this show in particular, especially after getting a sneak preview of all your guys' lists when it comes to wide receivers, at least.
I have a theory too. The reason this audio's out has to be some sort of curse from the blasphemy that came out of Lucas's mouth yesterday.
Of what?
Saying Sam Laporte is a Hall of Famer. There had to be some sort of repercussions from that.
No, it's just
there
facts.
has to be.
You got to face the noise, okay? And he has all the skill sets that most Hall of Fame tight ends, the people that we consider, have. He went to Iowa, Hall of Fame product, proven. We got Dallas Clark, Kittle's going to be one, Sam Laporte is going to be one.
Is Dallas Clark a Hall of Famer, though?
I think so. With Peyton Manning back in those days, bro, he was a dog.
And
he's got a ring, so I think so. Especially he was athletic for his time, too.
Sure.
And Gabby, for trivia, what do we got? What's the topic for today?
Today we're doing music, and there's going to be a fun second segment of trivia today, because I'm very curious as to what Jeff and Flannel's music taste is. I don't think anyone can really put a finger on it, so we're going to have a little music bracket to see who you would choose when it gets down to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I should feel more confident with music, depending on who it is exactly. But trivia is just, in general, I think I just take L's no matter what it is. But we'll see.
You took the W last time. My kind of air of invincibility is gone now. So
you know what I felt like? I won, but I didn't feel like I won because I was essentially just guessing. So I won, but also I want to win but know the questions. Okay. Feel confident when I win. Hopefully I can do that today. But before we get into any of the Lions stuff, I want to bring this up. Quinnen Williams signed a huge contract extension yesterday and, again, got the deal done with the Jets, signed a 4-year, $96 million deal, the second largest contract ever for defensive tackle. He gets $66 million in guarantees. And again, I believe the deal was actually negotiated by Nicole Lynn, who's a female agent, who actually negotiated Jalen Hurts' contract as well. So shout out to her, got him paid. But it also ends the whole discussion and the hope for Lions fans trade for Quinnen Williams. Yeah. All that stuff's put to bed now.
All that stuff is put to bed, and Quinnen Williams absolutely went out last year and earned this big contract. I mean, what is one of the best ways to wreck a game defensively is get pressure up the middle, and Quinnen Williams did that, as well as any interior defensive lineman last year not named Chris Jones. He had 12 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, and an absolutely insane 28 quarterback hits,
Jesus.
Which to me is even more impressive than the 12 sacks. And you know what this means, Jeff Iafrate? This means that maybe the New York Jets will be in back-to-back AFC Championship games, losing at Arrowhead both times. The plan has all come together. Quinnen Williams is all locked up. Aaron Rodgers for a couple years. Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, all on rookie contracts.
You know what?
I love it.
You know what, Sam? I know you thanked the football gods last night because now you got the real big man in New York, the real draw, Quinnen Williams, who I could see bailing out Aaron Rodgers in a playoff game. Quinnen Williams is a stud. I love Quinnen Williams, man, and that's like a pipe dream for Lions fans to get him a part of this core because, like you already alluded to and you stated, getting pressure from the interior is the most important thing. It's why I wanted Jalen Carter. They didn't go that route. We're over it. I don't want to keep bringing it up. For some reason, Jalen Carter finds a way to sneak into a conversation every time we talk about it. But Quinnen Williams got paid. That was recent, at least NFL news. But more than that, too, the NBA came out with some new rule changes. And I want to bring this up before we get into anything. And I want to get your reaction to this because we haven't discussed this. They're now fining players for flopping. That is now, or they're going to attempt to. And essentially, if a player flops and the ref deems that as a flop, it's a technical free throw for the other team. I don't know now. I don't know how well this is going to work. And the NBA, trust me, even, all the guys you would call old heads would say, well, the flopping in today's game is unbearable. I actually agree 100% with them. Flopping has gotten way worse in today's NBA because, again, they're allowed to. If you're a player and you get rewarded for it, I can't blame them for doing it. So now they're going to get punished for it. So at least there's that, Sam.
Oh, man. Like, I get it. Exaggerating flopping gets annoying from time to time. But anything that makes the old heads just go crazy and slobber over themselves makes me very, very unhappy. Because this idea that guys like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, oh, my God, they never flop. They actually had integrity for the game. That is absolutely false. I know a lot of you people are going to be like, oh, LaFlop is now not going to be able to do that. Stop it. Stop it. I know it's coming. I can see it from a mile away. All the old heads are just high-fiving each other, popping champagne. And I don't like that personally. But I just don't like the old head mentality in basketball. I never have, never will.
And to get to some of these comments, too, people chiming in already. Shout out to everybody for joining the chat thread here. That guy 62 says, really, NBA, now you want to make a flop rule. I actually agree. This is probably long. It's a long time coming. Even though you're right, flopping's always been around. Now in today's NBA, it is the magnitude of the amount of people flopping. Marcus Smart notoriously kind of has his own legacy with flopping. A lot of players do. A lot of defensive mainly players do too. LeBron James, even I think he's the GOAT, but he flops too. Everybody flops in today's NBA, but you're rewarded for it. So finally, the NBA is making a change, and they will be finding players who they deem flop. So I can't wait for that. But on more than that, though, I want to talk to you and have this discussion and kind of find out what everyone's got planned for the weekend, because it is Friday. We do. I don't know what you have planned, Sam. I'm not really doing much. But what do you got planned this weekend?
Well, I actually have a jam-packed weekend myself, which is different than a lot of weekends. I am going to Grand Rapids right after I get off Big D Energy and going to there for a weekend for a music festival on Saturday. It's called Upheaval Festival. I am there to see, in particular, Falling in Reverse, Ice Nine Kills, Flyleaf, and I'm going to meet two of my oldest friends who were two of my best men at my wedding. Shout out Joey and Travis. Joey was my best man. Travis was a groomsman, two of my oldest friends. So I am very, very excited about that.
Now, will you be doing ayahuasca at this event?
I will not be doing ayahuasca.
Okay. Hey, you support Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't sure if you're dabbling in some of the things he's dabbling in.
Well, just because I support Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean I emulate and want to become Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you're going to a music festival. You never know. Maybe indulge in some ayahuasca. Maybe some whatever it is.
It's not
Molly.
really that kind of music festival though. It's more of like a metalcore music festival. Hey.
It's more of a meth scene. You're doing some meth.
I'm not doing any meth, but I'll tell you what. A lot of you would be surprised. I go harder
Ecstasy?
in the mosh pit than just about anybody that you know.
Oh,
Try and challenge me. I go hard, man. I go hard.
So weak seeing flannel in a mosh pit.
I'm a very complex man.
He's knocking dudes out in the mosh pit. Sam Flannel don't play no games, man. That's for sure. Let's see. John Lord says, now I understand Flannel, young pitcher. He was a scene kid.
Oh yeah, I mean, a little bit, not really, but a little bit. Yeah.
John says, shout out to the doc. He says, Sam in the mosh pit, killer. Taking dudes out. Easy. Shout out to Easy for joining the chat. He says, some crystal. I don't know what you're indulging in. All I asked was, is it ayahuasca? I don't know. You defend Aaron Rodgers so much. Maybe you believe in ayahuasca. Maybe you want to indulge in it. Do whatever you want to do, Sam. I'm cool with it. As long as you're here Monday. I don't give a damn what you do. Andrew says, come on, Sam. I grew up in Pantera mosh pits. You know nothing.
Oh, talk about overrated.
Oh.
There's another,
No.
wait. It's the old head metal people, too, that want to talk about, like, Metallica and Pantera. Both overrated, by the way, in my personal opinion. Not nearly my cup of tea. I know you guys are going to kill me for that, too, because I could literally say puppies are great and you would kill me anyway. But in this case, I know that's not going to be very popular.
I don't. You keep saying if I say puppies are great, we would agree with you if we say puppies are great.
Are you sure that Jack Harrington, Detroit Dabber, Philip C., they would? I'm sure they wouldn't.
Oh, you gotta love it. I'll tell you what. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll go through PFF's offensive coordinator rankings. You get to see where Ben Johnson, my guy, lined up on that list. We'll get to that and much more when we come back from break. But before we do, Sam, can you tell us about our friends over at Swiss Insurance?
Absolutely.
Because if you're doing ayahuasca, you're gonna want some insurance, Sam.
And if I'm doing ayahuasca, which I am not doing. on the record, I am not doing ayahuasca. But if summer's here, now that summer's here, we all agree that it's summer. It is important to make sure you are properly covered. Whether it's a grad party or just a group of people over to enjoy the lake or pool, your liability exposure increases significantly in summertime. Let the Swiss Insurance Group review your coverage and make sure you are protected from an unexpected loss. Check us out at swissins.com or call Mark today at 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your number one resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in on this Friday morning. We're happy to have you here. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, myself, Gabrielle D. Phillips, Broder, Alex, and Lucas. All of us are here this morning. And if you haven't already, follow us on all social media at Woodward Sports. And head on over to the YouTube and like and subscribe. And then download this episode and leave a 5-star review.
Oh, this comment got me, dude. I can't even lie. Jonah says flannel P sitting down. Is that true, Sam?
No, it is actually not. Man, these people are ruthless. These guys are psychopaths.
He also says Lucas looks like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah.
What? That one's not original.
That's not news.
Yeah, that's not original. We need some new stuff, man. We do. I'll tell you what, we'll get to this list now. Do you have the list available?
I got
Lucas?
just the graphic with Ben Johnson.
Yeah, that's fine. You can throw it up. We'll react to it. So Ben Johnson, first year OC last year with the Lions. Number 1 ranked offensive coordinator in the NFL, according to PFF, and rightfully so. I mean, come on, guys. Ben Johnson, you look at the situation he was in compared to anybody else. I remember I was on a run last year making just some reels for just some of my personal channels, Jeff and Gentry, just talking about Ben Johnson and why I believe he should have won. I forgot the award name specifically, but it's basically just Assistant of the Year. And I don't know if I'm not mistaken, it went to Shane Steichen or D'Amico Ryans. Forgot who it was, but regardless, I think it should have been Ben Johnson because of the situation he has to work with. You look at the talent he was given, right? What he did for Cleef. Josh Reynolds was always pretty solid, but what he did for, players that you didn't expect to play well, the tight end group that the Lions have combined for 12 touchdowns. Zane Zylstra went for 3 in a game. Like the things he did for a lot of the skill position players and for Jared specifically, I think Ben deserves all the credit in the world, and he's now ranked number 1 in the NFL for OCs. And this isn't surprising, Sam. Ben Johnson, his departure, it's not a matter of if, it's when. I think after this season, there's going to be a team that brings him in immediately. He got some interviews last year, got some experience. It was the best of both worlds. He got to interview, and then he got to return to the Lions. So he got experience at least interviewing to be a head coach.
Yeah.
And that's going to help him for this upcoming season. Now, it's crazy to think the trajectory of Ben, because last year, or 2 years ago, Anthony Lynn was the OC. Everybody was like, okay, we'll see what Anthony Lynn does. And then halfway in the season, not even, he was relieved of his duties. And then you heard some noise about some guy named Ben Johnson, who was the pass game coordinator, and that's when Amon-Ra St. Brown took off. Now, the big question was among Lions fans, and now everybody likes to say, well, Jeff, that was obvious. Ben Johnson was going to be the OC. No, he wasn't. There was Deuce Staley was in that conversation. There was also another conversation about should we look outside the organization. Matt Nagy was a big one, which, not a huge fan of that conversation. No one really was in Detroit. But regardless, there was these conversations. It wasn't like, okay, obviously it's Ben. It was never like that. I was doing shows at the time. I know for a fact it wasn't like that. But now you look back, Dan made the right decision. And this is a credit to Dan. Dan's consistently made the right coaching decisions, at least for his staff. If he doesn't, he corrects it. Aubrey Pleasant didn't work out, fired him. Like he makes these decisions very quickly. He moves on, he pivots, and he finds the right guy. And I'm happy Ben Johnson's here with Detroit. And I think Jared Goff is too.
100%. And I am really, really glad that this list acknowledged Ben Johnson as the #1 offensive coordinator, at least coming into next year. I was personally, and I've said this before, I was shocked that he didn't actually take or get a head coaching job, because I thought it was almost inevitable that he was going to leave. And you kind of mentioned the leap that the team took, the offense took, Jared Goff took, Amon-Ra St. Brown took, pretty much as soon as Ben Johnson was elevated to passing game coordinator in 2021. And piggybacking off of that, Jeff, I want to take you back to a very, very dark day in the history of Detroit, a game that you were at, Thanksgiving 2021, when the Lions lost at home to the Chicago Bears 16-14, in a large part because of Dan Campbell's mismanagement of the clock to end the game, and the fact that they only scored 14 points, which is unacceptable. At the time, the Detroit Lions were 0-10-1. The Lions offense was averaging, this is 2021 through the first 11 games, a paltry 15.8 points per game, that's an 0-17 level offense right there. Jared Goff in 10 starts did not look so good, through 10 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I would say not great. And during Amon-Ra St. Brown's first 10 games, 39 receptions, 352 yards, 0 touchdowns. To me, that sounds like somewhat solid for a rookie. Nothing special in any way, shape, or form. But
especially for a 4th-round pick.
Absolutely. And I know Ben Johnson, he was technically elevated a couple games before, but look at the last 6 games. The Lions go from 0-10-1 in their first 11 to 3-3 in their last 6, which is a drastic improvement. The offense goes from averaging 15.8 points per game to 25.2 in the last 6. An enormous improvement, almost 10 points. Absolutely. Jared Goff in his last 4 starts, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions after having 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in his first 10 starts. Massive improvement. And nobody quite glowed up in those last 6 games quite like Amon-Ra St. Brown. In the first 10 games, as I already mentioned, 39 receptions, 352 yards, 0 touchdowns. In the last 6, 51 receptions, 560 yards, 5 touchdowns. That is some 2021 Cooper Kupp level numbers right there, at least for a 6-game sample size, or a little bit of a facsimile of it anyway. And that just propelled this team in 2022 to have a top 5 scoring offense, for Jared Goff to have the best season of his career, for Amon-Ra St. Brown to have that coveted 100 reception, 1,000 yards season. That absolutely unbelievable. And one of the reasons that I think is slept on, that Ben Johnson should get so much credit, this team doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Josh Allen. There's no Travis Kelce. There's no Jamar Chase. There's no Stephon Diggs. They've never had really an elite running back. They don't have a Nick Chubb, a Derrick Henry, a Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, anyone like that. They do have a very, very good offensive line, but at the same time, they don't have really stars anywhere. Amon-Ra St. Brown is emerging into one, but nobody would put him as a top 5 receiver or anything. So what Ben Johnson has done with this team, helping elevate them from the doldrums of a winless season, a potential winless season. They were staring down the barrel of a winless season. Ben Johnson cannot get enough credit. He has been one of the greatest assistant coaches, if not the greatest assistant coach in Lions history, certainly of my lifetime.
And it's crazy because I feel like over time now, with Dan as the head coach, we've been seeing a lot of this is the best this in my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's been, this is the most excited I've been in my lifetime. This is the best probably assistant you've had in your lifetime. This is the best GM and Brad Holmes you've had in your lifetime. A lot of new things are happening for Lions fans. And I think what separates Ben from other guys is, although, yes, up top in the brain, super smart, and what he's been doing statistically with the offense. But more than that, his relationships. The guy in his relationship with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jared Goff, with Brock Wright, because he was a tight ends coach before he was an OC. And he's coached pretty much every position on offense. He's coached wide receivers, he's coached tight ends, he's coached quarterbacks. And for him now to be the OC, it's perfectly fitting, well-deserved, and he's going to get a head coaching job, well-deserved. Although I'll be sad, I'll be happy for him because he deserves it. He really does. Now, the other part about this is it this year? Is he as good as gone? And who's waiting in the ranks? And I've been pretty consistent with this. I think who should replace Ben is Tanner Ekstrand, who's the passing game coordinator now. And you have to look at the patterns in which these guys get promoted. That's what I pay attention to. Ben Johnson, pass game. He was tight ends coach, pass game coordinator, OC. Tanner Ekstrand, tight ends coach, pass game coordinator,
Ooh.
OC. I'm telling you. And he's going to be the next guy next season to be the OC for the Detroit Lions. I'm calling it right now. But Ben Johnson, Lucas, the things he's done in Detroit has been historic. And he's pretty much good as gone this upcoming season, I think.
Yeah. Ben Johnson is a wizard. I was surprised he came back this year. I think we both were in agreement that he was going to L.A. I thought he was going to the Chargers for sure with Justin Herbert. They brought in the horse, Kellen Moore. Dude looks exactly like a donkey, but he knows ball. I'm a big Kellen Moore guy, but that dude is hideous. But yeah, he's good as gone. I'm trying to think of the situations around the league. Maybe Washington, but they just got Bieniemy, so I don't think he's going to go somewhere. I couldn't tell you exactly where, but by far the best offensive coordinator in the league. And I love what Flannel said about not only the quarterbacks around him, that around the league that he does not have, but the receivers too, because we love Amon-Ra St. Brown. But when you talk about offensive coordinators, you look at the guys who you have like the Jalen Waddles, the Tyreek Hills, the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. All those top-tier guys have top-tier talent around them. Not saying the Lions aren't talented, but it's a completely different tier compared to the other coordinators around them.
Yeah, it's different, and that's why, like for Shane Steichen, Ben Johnson, Shane Steichen's a great OC, and will be, I think, a really good head coach. But situation matters, dude. Like, it does, and I think Ben, with what he's had to work with, it's even more impressive. But to Matt and Gabby, you guys are around the team. Gabby, I'll start with you. People say, I don't think Ben will leave until the Lions accomplish a Super Bowl or a playoff win. To me, I don't think it matters. I think after this season, he's going to be so sought after, he has to leave, and rightfully so, to get a job.
I think everyone thought he was going to leave this year, even Brad Holmes, because you saw in his interview with Peter Schrager, that came out, 2 days ago now? He said, we're really lucky that he came back. We're really lucky that he came back, and now we have this opportunity this next year, and he's going to have another year with Jared Goff, but we're really lucky. So I think there was a lot of worry internally that he wasn't going to return, but they kind of all expected it because of how much he grew in such a short period of time.
And you can't deny that guaranteed money, Matt. If you're a head coach, the amount of money, even if he gets fired, and he can always come back, you can't turn it down. If he's offered a head coaching gig and it is attractive, it's an attractive gig. Like, let's say the Chargers fire Brandon Staley.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
He's out of here.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, and he's openly said it. I mean, his end game is to be a head coach. So regardless of the storylines that we can build, we want him to stay, give us that hometown love, to stay for another year. It's not going to happen. He's going to get a bag. So it's going to be sad to move on. But fortunately with the Lions, as sometimes it hurts Lions fans.
Lions fans.
There we go. Sometimes it hurts Lions fans, but they groom these coaches to take that next step, to take a forward move in their career, which in turn we'll end up losing some of the good ones, but it is bringing the best out of that coaching staff when they know they're around a guy like Dan Campbell in a front office that has that in mind. So it's gonna suck losing him, but man, we're gonna have a good year with BJ today.
Oh,
all right. Let's chill referring to that.
You know what? Though, he is right.
I don't know how to come back from that
one. Guys,
hey, the Lions are lucky to have BJ.
Guys, what are factually Ben Johnson's initials? Broder, I know what you're talking
about.
All
man.
these people are out here with their minds in the gutter. I mean, Ben Johnson can't change those initials.
Well, just saying. You know what initials I love almost as much as BJ for Ben Johnson? It's PF for Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Of course.
that was smooth.
That was very, very smooth. I got to give you credit for that, Jeff Iafrate. But I also have to give credit, of course, to Planet Fitness for having me looking like this,
Flex Friday!
Yeah! And you know what? I'm going to be showing off these guns in the mosh pit on Saturday. Let's go. But, of course, before I go to the mosh pit,
you got a permit for those?
Of course, I conceal carry these MFers, especially when I wear my long sleeve flannel. But anywho, I got to get back on topic because even though Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. We are here to help you build a lasting, active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for only $10 a month. Yes, they are still just $10 a month. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of physical and mental wellness, which is why we have invited teens between the ages ages of 14 and 19 to work out free all summer long with our high school summer pass program. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Oh, yeah.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Your childhood may be over, like Sam Flannel, but playtime certainly is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment. They got sales, service, and parts, carrying top brands such as LS Tractor, Bad Boy Steel, and much more. They service the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, visit them at OutdoorEquipCo.com. Outdoor Equipment Company, your power equipment playground. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Matt Broder, Gabby D. Phillips, and Lucas Klotz. Thank you guys for sticking with us. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. If you missed the show, you can go back and listen on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever platform you listen to your podcasts. But if you're on the website, which you should be, check out our latest news from our articles, wonderful writers like Matt Broder, who's filling in for JB today, updates, show clips, and merchandise. And I have another list here, and it does involve the offense, not Ben Johnson, not Mr. BJ, but it does talk about the offensive line. And we know this offensive line is elite. It's their best unit, I think, on the entire team, point blank period. And check this ranking out. I don't know if you have the graphic or not,
I'll find it.
but I'll read off where you guys think they rank. And this is per just to get the source correct here. This is per Warren Sharp Football, and they ranked the best offensive lines in the NFL, and this is on SharpFootballAnalyst.com. And this is all an opinion piece, but still, I want to get the live reactions because we think they're 2. Some would have them 3, but they're a top 3 offensive line. And number 1, I think definitively, at least I would say, it is the Eagles. I think they have the best offensive line. I'm not going to try to make that case. I think you could try, but the Eagles, man, you got some Hall of Famers already on that line. So it's tough to argue that.
I mean, they literally could have the GOAT center and the GOAT right tackle right now still playing well, still being first-team All-Pro last year. No question it's got to be the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. No question.
And no one has an issue with that, right? Eagles offensive line number 1. Cool. Okay. And then number 2 in this ranking, they have the Lions offensive line at number 2. And I'll just go through a couple who they have behind the Lions. 3, the Ravens, who do have a pretty good offensive line. 4, the Chiefs, which I actually think should be 3. Personally, the Chiefs' offensive line, since that Tampa Bay Super Bowl to now, their offensive line, they got dudes. 5, the Browns, which no disagreement there. 6, the Packers. 7, Broncos. And there you go. There's the top 7. There's a lot more. It's all 32. I don't give a damn. Let's just talk about the Lions. Number 2 on this list. Anyone think they should be higher? We'll start there. Is it fair? And people feel free to chime into the chat. Is number 2 fair? Okay, so I see Denver Blair. 2 is rightfully so. And again, at least for the upcoming season, they have to re-sign Jonah Jackson next offseason. And again, Penei Sewell's so young, he could still get a lot better. The biggest question I have with this offensive line and my concern is Frank Ragnow's inoperable toe injury. Mm-hmm. And I guess the question would be, how concerned are you that this offensive line can stay healthy? Because look at the Jekyll and Hyde, right? Dan's first season, Frank Ragnow's hurt. Look what happened. It changed a lot of what the offensive line. Jared Goff was, compared to that year to the following year, sacked way more and was pressured way more because there was no Vitae still at that season to some extent. And then you had no Frank Ragnow. Now, the following season, you get Frank Ragnow back. He's healthy, banged up, but he played through it. Now Jared Goff barely gets touched. So I would argue that a lot of what the Lions do this year depends on the health of that offensive line. And I've been consistent with that.
Yeah.
We talked about the biggest concern for the Lions. They talked about outside wide receivers. I mean, you can't even throw your receivers if you don't have a damn healthy offensive line. So I would make that argument, the offensive line, the health of those guys up front, the most important thing for this offense to stay afloat. Your opinion on that?
Well, that's why... Here's my opinion on it. I think the Lions have the ceiling of being the number 2 offensive line in the NFL. I think right now, when I looked at this whole list, I personally would put them at number 5 behind the Eagles, of course, the Chiefs, the Browns, and the Atlanta Falcons. Those are the 4 that I would have ahead of the Lions right now. But at the same time, the Lions certainly have the ceiling to be the number 2 offensive line in the NFL.
I'm trying to figure this out. Don't worry.
It's all right. I'll just keep going. For those of you
look at Jeff's pretty face.
For those of you listening on the podcast, you have no idea what's going on anyway right now. So that is 100% perfect. I mean, Penei Sewell, I think we all agree that there is a chance that he becomes an all-pro very, very soon. He probably has the highest upside of any of the offensive linemen. I don't think he's quite reached it yet, but he could reach it this year. And then you look at Frank Ragnow. You obviously alluded to it. He has that inoperable toe. He's trying to play through it. He's been an all-pro. Do I think he can get back to that? Maybe, but it's still pretty much a logjam, I think, right now with like Jason Kelsey and Creed Humphrey and the like of that. But still, Frank Ragnow is going to be very, very solid. Vaitai, I think, is one of the wild cards because he didn't play at all last year. If he can come back healthy, this can healthy and playing well, this can most certainly be a top 2 offensive line. Decker and Jonah Jackson, I think sometimes they get a little bit overvalued by Lions fans. I think they're both solid, not stars. I don't think Jonah Jackson kind of made a courtesy Pro Bowl in 2020. Taylor Decker, believe it or not, has never made one.
Well, hold on.
Wait. Did T.J. Hawkinson made a courtesy Pro Bowl too?
Would you say T.J. Hawkinson's pretty good?
T.J. Hawkinson is pretty good. I'm not saying that they're Jeff. I'm not saying that Jonah Jackson and Taylor Decker aren't good. I'm saying that they are good. They're solid. They're not stars. The stars, the potential superstar is Penei Sewell. The star who has proven something is Frank Ragnow.
I would, I guess I just view if you're, I would say Jonah's a top 10 guard, probably upper half of that top 10. So he's good. Like, I don't know, maybe the way you said it, it's just like, yeah, he's all right. No, he's really good. He's one of the better guards in the league.
He's fine.
He's good. He's not just fine.
He's good.
Oh
my
Jonah
goodness.
Jackson. Okay, go on. Continue.
He's good. I guess my point is that I think it would take a healthy Vaitai, Penei Sewell taking yet another leap, Frank Ragnow playing a whole season healthy and playing at Pro Bowl level, and for Taylor Decker and Jonah Jackson to be healthy and continue to be stalwart, very solid to very, very good offensive linemen. If all of those things hit, which is very, very possible, the Lions, without a shadow of a doubt, have the second best offensive line in the NFL. I just don't think they are there quite yet, but I still have them as top 5, and it is their strongest unit.
What do you think, Lucas? You worried Frank Ragnow, inoperable toe injury?
I don't know. For this season, not that much, but that's definitely going to turn into a problem because when you're that big of a man, and you have 300-pound defensive linemen for the rest of your career just pushing against you, and they're going to be stepping on the toe, he's going to hurt that again. And I think eventually it's going to be one of those things where, as painful it is, we're eventually going to have to move on from Frank Ragnow. But that doesn't worry me at all because the rest of this offensive line, even if we keep 3 out of the 5, 2 out of the 5, we're still in good shape because this offensive line is built very well, especially with depth, I think. Like, if something happens to Ragnow, we got Glasgow. So I'm not that worried about it, especially with the running backs that we have. Even if this line does take a dip, we improved at the running back position. So I think it'll even out either way.
Well, at least you look at who they have currently. Vaitai, whether he's good or not, they had Evan Brown last year. He was solid. They just need somebody at that really at that right guard spot that's just solid.
Yeah, and it's so easy to replace a guard in the NFL. It's like the running back position.
Especially if you have a Jonah Jackson, who I believe is a top 10 guard. Yeah. So you already have a top, 10, 15 tackle in Taylor, top 10 guard in Jonah, one of the better centers in the NFL in Frank. Vaitai, I would say he's just solid. And then Penei, who's one of the better right tackles in the league. That's a great unit. But Frank Ragnow's injury, Broder, is a lot of concern there. I don't know. He has played through it, but inoperable toe injury, 17-game season, and 18 games, maybe 19 games. Some fans think it'll be 20 games.
Yeah.
He'll be playing in February, according to you, Broder.
I think you'd be a fool not to be a little bit concerned. playing the center position, I think other than maybe wide receiver that relies so much on cutting and planting in the ground and getting in a different direction, the center uses all his leverage and gets all his power from his toes up. So literally, if you're starting, your first point of contact with the ground is a toe injury. That's
he's in pain
difficult.
like every play.
Yeah, that's
essentially
not so good. And I agree with Lucas a little bit about right guards are relatively easily replaceable, except for in an offense like the Lions that relies on play action, that relies on guards pulling so often. I think having a healthy Vitae is as important as anything on the offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Ragnall's no Sam Laporta, though. I just want to bring that up, Lucas. He's great, but he's not Hall of Fame.
I don't think Frank Ragnall's going to be a Hall of Famer. Now, if he didn't have this toe thing, I agree, but his career is definitely going to be shortened due to this. There's no doubt in it.
Should he just pull a Deion Sanders and just cut that thing off, or what? Deion, I feel bad for. Speaking of toe injuries, toe injuries are a huge deal, actually, because especially when they're inoperable, there's no more, and I'm not a doctor, but it's like there's no more tissue left for the doctors to do anything. It's essentially, hey, it is what it is. Yeah. They're going to have to shoot him up with all kinds of shots and medicine and just to get him through games. Now, he's tough as nails. Frank Ragnow is one of those guys that you look at and never shows he's in pain. He just plays. And I love it, but also I don't love it for his personal life. So I don't know how long Frank's career is going to be. But to say you're not worried about Frank this upcoming season, you'd be lying.
Well, I think we all agree that Frank Ragnow is going to try to play through it. He's going to tough it out, as one would say. But is Frank Ragnow, what % of his peak apex Frank Ragnow is he going to be able to be with this toe injury? Because if he's 100% Frank Ragnow and he were to do that for 3 or 4 years, I agree with Lucas. He would probably be a future Hall of Fame center. But with this inoperable toe, you could potentially see his career being shortened, him not being who he once was this year. And I would say 80% or 80 to 90% of Frank Ragnow is still one of the better centers in the NFL. But it ain't as good as 100% of Frank Ragnow, because Frank Ragnow was one time in a second team All-Pro. And if everything is equal, if everything is everybody's healthy, you could argue that Frank Ragnow at this moment is the best overall and most valuable overall player on this team. So out of all the players to have an inoperable toe, especially given the fact that you're a center and dealing with defensive linemen on every single play, as Lucas said, it is something to at least watch for. It's not something that you can scoff at as nothing. You may see him out there and playing well, but you're always going to know that is not quite the Frank Ragnow that he was in his absolute apex.
Which, it's crazy. Even with the toe injury, he's still elite, which is crazy to think about. Booner, just to get some of these comments, shout out to Booner, shout out to Michael Gentry, Kool-Aid as well. The love we're getting from Woodward Sports employees, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. But Booner says, Frank can have one of my toes. I don't need it. Hey, Booner. He's a real one right there, donating his toe. Jonah says Frank Ragnow is the type of guy to rip off his own toe and bite it and get back in the game. I mean, that's okay? All right, if that's who we have, we're fine. Let's see. Philip says, Jeff, donate one of your toes to Frank Ragnow. Well, Patty, excuse me, says donate one of your toes for the team. Maybe we can work out something. Maybe we can work out some sort of deal. You can have my toe, Frank. You guys win a Super Bowl. I get taken care of. We'll talk about the details at a later date. And I think the other thing is too, for at least this offensive line compared to last year, and what they've added is depth, which is a huge part of it. Vitae's back healthy. I know they lost Evan Brown, but you signed Glasgow as well. So at least you have some depth, and Glasgow can play center. He can play guard. He could play any position on the offensive line. Big Colby. You just hope you don't get to that point where Glasgow is playing center. He can play right guard if Vitae's hurt, but you'd much rather have Frank in there. Because, again, Jared spoke about it. Without Frank, it's very different.
Earlier this summer, I had the chance to speak with Frank and had the opportunity to ask him about his foot and what was going to happen and how he was feeling about his toe. And he had a very positive disposition about it. It was early in the summer, and there was still not training yet, but he said, look, I'm healing. I'm doing what I can. There's really no other options aside from that and healing and working with what he's got. But his disposition was really positive about it, and he seemed very hopeful for a full season.
You know what would be hard to do with that toe injury too is participate in the Randy Wise golf outing. So can you speak about our friends over at Randy Wise for us?
Yes, I can. Randy Wise is where you go to make the wise choice when you're selecting a vehicle. Head on over to any of their locations today and register for the opportunity to win a chance to play at one of Michigan's best golf courses with you and your buddies over at any Randy Wise location today. And while you're at it, check out the first episode of the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour, available at woodwardsports.com right now.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Gabrielle D. Phillips, Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Lucas, Broder, and Alex. We're so happy to have you here this morning. If you're not already following us on social media, it's at Woodward Sports. Go and do that now. And then leave a like and subscribe on our YouTube. And then if you get a chance and you're listening to this episode after the fact, thanks for checking us out. Download and leave a 5-star review.
It's time to get into the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. And Matt, whenever you can, I'm going to need a track. I'm going to need some music here because we got to get through some lists. And you're going to get different reactions. You have Sam Flannel's list, my list, Lucas's list, Matt Broder's list. Okay? So I haven't taken a look at everyone's list. I don't know who has who where. The question and the topic, really of this discussion is Amon-Ra St. Brown a top 10 receiver? And you guys feel free to answer that question. Is he a top 10 receiver? If not, where is he ranked? And everyone has a different way of ranking wide receivers. For me personally, I took into account last season and projections for this upcoming season, tried to combine them. Who's coming off? That's what I do with Jared Goff. I believe he's the second quarterback in the NFC, based off what I saw last season and what I think this season. So we'll start with Sam's list, okay?
Ooh, we'll bring it up.
We'll start with Sam's list, and then we'll react to it. We'll go down. We won't spend too much time because we got to get through everybody's list, but here's Sam's list. Sam, take it away.
Absolutely. At number 1, I've got Justin Jefferson. Has had the greatest 3-year start to a career in any wide receiver has ever had. Over 4,800 receiving yards. The next closest is Randy Moss, who had 4,100 in his first 3 years. Absolutely insane. Tyreek Hill, after having an amazing storied career with Kansas City, he comes to Miami, has 1,700 yards, which is his career high. Playing with Tua Tagovailoa, I thought his stats would take a dip when he left Patrick Mahomes. I was dead wrong, and he was Pro Football Focus's number 1 rated wide receiver last year. At number 3, I have Devontae Adams. And with Devontae Adams, I look at his last 3 seasons. It's very, very impressive. Tied for the most receptions in any player's last 3 seasons, the second most yards, and what's even more impressive, in his last 3 years, he has 43 combined touchdown catches. The second closest has 33, so 10 more than any other person has done in their past 3 years. I got Jamar Chase, who he's one of those guys, and Lucas, I know you'll agree with me. I take a lot of stock in when he came into the league. You could argue on day 1, you might lose that argument. You could argue he was the best wide receiver in all of the NFL on day 1. Had over 1,400 yards his rookie year, over 1,012 games last season. He is absolutely insane. Stephon Diggs, I look at his past 3 years once he went with Josh Allen, once he went to the Bills. Tied for the most receptions, 4th most receiving yards, and 6th most receiving touchdowns. Absolutely elite. At number 6, I've got Cooper Kupp, who in 2021 had reached a level of dominance that even everybody else on this list could only dream of, winning the regular season wide receiver triple crown, the playoff wide receiver triple crown, and the Super Bowl MVP. At number 7, A.J. Brown, who had a breakout season last year in Philly. I think him and Jalen Hurts were complementary in each other's breakout seasons. Last year, he was 4th in the NFL in receiving yards. He was 2nd amongst all great wide receivers in yards per catch, only after Jalen Waddle. And he was 3rd in receiving touchdowns with 11. At number 8, I have DeAndre Hopkins, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 6 1,000-yard seasons. With him, I look a lot at resume. If he retired today, you could argue he's a Hall of Famer. And last season, when people say he fell off, I say in air quotes, 9 games, 717 receiving yards. Still elite. Number 9, C.D. Lamb. Last season, tied for 5th in receptions. He was 6th in yards, had that coveted 100-catch, 1,000-yard season. And in his first 3 years, in a player's first 3 years, this might surprise you, 6th, tied for 6th in receptions with 260. And at number 10, this is what we've all been waiting for. Of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He absolutely is top 10, and I'm going to tell you why, because the numbers dictate it. Last season, 7th in receptions. He had 11th in receiving yards with over 1,100. And believe it or not, Amon-Ra St. Brown in a player's first 2 seasons is tied for the most receptions in any player's first 2 seasons with 196 with Justin Jefferson and Michael Thomas. And if you guys don't remember, Michael Thomas's start to his career, his first 4 seasons was insane. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, for that reason, is 100% a top 10 wide receiver, and he has earned it with his stellar play over not just last year, but the previous year, particularly the last 6 games. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
So I actually have a similar list. At least I think the first 6, 7, 8 guys are pretty consensus.
Yeah.
The real conversation starts at 10 because there's a lot of guys that can factor into that equation. You have the Deebo Samuels of the world, DK Metcalf. I mean, you have Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley. I think this year will be back into that conversation. There's a lot of guys, Jalen Waddle, which we discussed earlier. And I guess the question we're all going to have to answer is, why is Amon-Ra top 10 over those guys this season? Now, people say, Keenan Allen. Like, how is Amon-Ra St. Brown over? How do you rank him over Keenan Allen? Can you explain your side of that?
Okay, I will explain clearly, because Keenan Allen...
Or Terry McLaurin is another one.
Do Terry. That's the one that people go nuts over.
No, I mean, Terry McLaurin, if he were on my list, he would probably be 11 or 12. He's obviously had 1,000 yards his last 3 seasons. But with Amon-Ra St. Brown, I look at the level of dominance when it comes to their first 2 seasons. In his first 2 seasons, he's literally tied with Justin Jefferson and Michael Thomas with 196 receptions in their first 2 years. That is unbelievable. And I actually want to touch on Keenan Allen really quick. Keenan Allen is one of those guys that I think becomes a little bit overvalued, because he is a damn good wide receiver. Lucas, I will let you respond. Would you believe me if I told you he only had 1,200 yards or more in a season once in his entire career? He has struggled with injuries, and he has never once had double-digit touchdowns in a season. He may be good. He may be top 15. He is not better than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I'll admit now he's not, but can you admit Keenan in his prime was hands down a top 10.
But here's the thing: this isn't based off legacy.
No, that's why I just was, when he was calling him overrated, I was like, oh.
No, well,
it hurt me, because Keenan's so cold, at least back in the day.
No, Keenan is that dude. I don't want to get that twisted, but to Sam's point, this is this year. So I actually agree with Sam. I don't think Keenan's, I mean, if we're going off last season numbers, he wasn't healthy, which I think factors into these rankings. He still had 700 yards in what, 10 games? So pretty damn productive, but still, you can't be rewarded for not being healthy, to me at least. And Keenan Allen, if you talk about route running, one of the best route runners in the NFL. But this isn't based off route running. This is based off production. What do you think will happen this upcoming season? There's a lot of things that factor into it. We'll get to, what do you want to do, my list first? Or save mine for last? What do you want to do?
Whatever you feel like.
All right, let's do my list. Let's go. All right, we'll throw my list up here. We'll react to it because it's pretty similar. I don't have to do a ton of analysis here. Sam already broke down pretty much the first 8. Justin Jefferson, I believe, is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I would love to hear other people's opinions on that. Devontae Adams, I think it's those two, 1A, 1B. Devontae, to me, is number 2. Tyreek is also up there. I think the first 3 is pretty consensus. I have Stephon over Jamar. Because to me, Stephon, if you go off their last 2 seasons, eye test matters. Jamar Chase, spectacular wide receiver. He also plays with 2 other guys that demand the football. So that I agree that matters. but Stephon has more yards, more touchdowns. Like, he produces at a higher level. And if anything, it's actually harder for Stephon because he doesn't have T. Higgins. He doesn't have Tyler Boyd. He doesn't have, at least the weapons around him. And he's still able to go out there and produce 1,400 yards a year. So, and route running ability, he's one of the best in the league. So all that factored in, I think Stephon's better right now than Ja'Marr. But Jamar's 5. It's not a big difference. 6, Cooper Kupp. Again, last season, people forget what Cooper Kupp did in half the season. He had 700 yards. He was on pace for another 1,800 yards if he played.
815 in 9 games.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. But again, you don't stay healthy. You can't be rewarded for that. So he's 6. 7, A.J. Brown. 8, DeAndre Hopkins, because DeAndre's another one. Didn't stay healthy, but again, production in the games he played, he was on pace for 1,500 yards as well. 9, CeeDee Lamb. And for people that are saying CeeDee Lamb, guys, I understand, but CeeDee Lamb, a true X wide receiver, 1,300 yards. He plays with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott didn't even have a great year last year, and he still had 1,300. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot. He can run any route in the route tree, explosive, and I get people will say he's overrated, but he's still a top 10 receiver. I'm not going to go that far. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown at 10. And for people that wonder, Jeff, why do you choose Amon-Ra over Mike Evans, over Keenan, over Waddle, over all these guys? And I'll explain. And you mentioned it. Amon-Ra St. Brown, through his first 2 seasons, tied for the most receptions in NFL history. He has a higher catch percentage than a lot of those other guys. So the football comes in his area code. He's coming down with it. That's what matters, catching the football. If you look at who is the best in man coverage, who ranks up there? Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Number 1.
One of the most deadliest receivers in man coverage. I would argue that's essentially your job. Get open. He does that at a high level. And if you're factoring in last year, going into this year, I think it's Amon-Ra. I think this year he's set up to have a 1,400 yard season this year, Amon-Ra St. Brown, especially no Jameson Williams the first 6 games. Mike Evans last year. And Mike Evans, I think, for a guy in every season in the NFL has had 1,000 yards, all-time wise, he's going to go down as one of those dudes you'll look back on and say, man, Mike Evans was super productive. Honestly, never not productive.
Yeah.
But last season, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yep.
Amon-Ra had a better year. Guys, legacy. We're not ranking legacy. If this was legacy, Mike Evans would be in the top 10. This isn't based off legacy. This is based off last season. Who would you take? Amon-Ra had more yards. I think he had more touchdowns, too, and a higher catch percentage. So, and he played with less talent. So if we're going to make that argument, I'll make that argument. That's why I have Amon-Ra St. Brown over him. Deebo Samuel wasn't healthy, and he had a down year. In 13 games, he had 700 yards. So even if he played, I get you could say, well, he had Brock Purdy. I understand that. That doesn't factor into this equation. It's productivity. It's all those things combined. If Deebo had a year like he had the year prior, he'd be in this list. 1,500 yards, you're in the top 10. He didn't. So I don't have him on my list. That's my top 10. Anybody have any disagreements?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. I for both of them, I still don't think he's a top 10 guy. But
wait, what'd you say?
I don't think CeeDee's a top 10 guy. I don't. I think he's 11. He's the clear 11, where he's you got the 1 through 5 and 6 through 10, and then you got 11, and it's CeeDee, and he's kind of in that weird tier of his own, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to spend too much time because I want to see your list and we'll react to your list. So we'll get to Lucas's list. What do you think? What do you got?
This is the Magna Carta. Everything you could possibly want to know about wide receivers. This is the truth, people. Right here. Number 1 is Davante Adams. I don't care what anybody says. This man in Derek Carr's worst season and Jarrett Stidham last year still led the NFL in receiving touchdowns. And I think he is still the most dominant wide receiver in the last probably 5 seasons, outside of Antonio Brown, towards the tail end of that. And the crown has not been taken off of him yet. So I'm still going to go Davante Adams over Justin Jefferson. But Justin Jefferson, again, 1A is Davante Adams, 1B is Justin Jefferson. I'm going with Tyreek Hill just because fastest wide receiver I've ever seen play, and he still has the ability to get jump balls. Jamar Chase, I think, still puts up crazy production with tons of talent around him. I think if you were to give him an offense by himself, he would put up stupid numbers. Stephon Diggs has been overly productive over the last couple of seasons, one of the best route runners in the game, so I think that's clear top 5. And number 6 is DeAndre Hopkins. I understand people probably think this is high, but this man led the NFL in the second half of the season in receiving yards, and still to this day has the best hands in the NFL. Cooper Kupp, I wanted to put him higher, but coming off 2 major injuries, I think the Rams as a whole are going to take a step back, so I put him there. And then close is A.J. Brown. he's just an all-around monster. He can do it all, but again, I think he's benefiting a lot from his situation. Unlike Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is the 9th best wide receiver in the league. I don't care. He's not the most talented of the guys on here. He's probably the least talented, but he's one of the most productive. I think we're going to see him get better and better season by season, and it just comes down to how he approaches the game. And number 10 is Jalen Waddle over CeeDee Lamb. And I get it. I like CeeDee Lamb a lot, but Jalen Waddle, since entering the league, if you want to go stat for stat with CeeDee Lamb, because everybody talks about, oh, he's so productive, but he's in Dallas, which is one of the most offensive-friendly units in the league, and he's been there for years, and yet still to this day, I think he's an ex-wide receiver, but he doesn't do anything on an elite level in my mind. I think he does a lot of things great, but nothing elite. And you look at Jalen Waddle, since entering the league, let's just take this season. This season, Jalen Waddle had 75 receptions for 1,356 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 107 receptions, so that's 32 more catches, and he had 1,359 yards. So he had 3 more yards on 32 more catches, which is insane. Especially because he had Skylar Thompson, he had Teddy Bridgewater, and then Tua for half the season. If you're playing in Dallas and you're the number 1 wide receiver and you have the hype that CeeDee Lamb does, you better outperform and be on a level of the Jamar Chase. In my opinion, that's why CeeDee Lamb, he's a great receiver, but he's not up there with, like, if Jalen Waddle was in Dallas, he would be way more productive, and I don't think it'd be close.
So we'll go to break. When we get back, I want to react to that list, and we'll get to Broders as well. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Dispo, because today, Ermanni and Edwards, the heavyweights, the boys, will be down at Hazel Park over at Dispo. Get down there and check it out if you're a cannabis lover. They got everything you need and much more. The best bud tenders. I mean, the entire experience at Dispo, that's what separates them from every other dispensary that I have ever been to, and I think any dispensary that you've ever been to. Check out Dispo now, dispo.com for more information. Go check out Dispo today. Go say hi to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz and the heavyweights.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We just got done going through our top 10 list for wide receivers. And again, this is the offseason. This is the conversations we have to have. Lions, can you please get here? Can the football season please get here? I cannot wait. But this is the time we, project or we rank guys based on what they did last season or this upcoming season. And Lucas just went through his top 10 list. And can you put it up one more time?
Yeah, I got you. The sauce, you want the sauce?
Yeah, I want to just pick this apart real quick, okay? So, one question.
And I got one answer. Maybe a couple that are all still right, though.
Why is Cooper Kupp behind DeAndre Hopkins?
I think DeAndre Hopkins last year, he kind of did the same thing that we saw Cooper Kupp do in the beginning of the season. As far as he was crazy in the first half, Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Hopkins was crazy in the second half. You have Kyler Murray, who D-Hop really didn't play with last year. He had Colt McCoy, and he still put up crazy stats. I think if you put DeAndre Hopkins, look at what he did when he was with Houston and Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's that D-Hop, but he's still pretty damn near close because everybody blows the PED thing out of proportion, in my opinion. I think, what does that have to do to actually affect his legacy and his skill? His skill has not changed at all, and this man was a consensus top 5, and he showed you exactly, hey, I'm still here, and he did that last season in a terrible situation. So Cooper Kupp, he's coming off a major injury. That's why I'm sliding those two there.
The only reason why I at least am a little confused is because they play the same amount of games. And hands too. That's the other thing.
Don't worry.
I'll get to the hands. Don't worry about it. We'll start with the games they played. 9 games each. Cooper Kupp had more yards, more touchdowns, and a higher catch percentage by 10%.
Yeah,
which is
he's
pretty high.
playing with
76.
Sean McVay,
So now it's the coach. Okay, so
that matters. What are we
it
talking
does.
about
But
here?
hey, I didn't know Sean McVay. When the football comes to your hands, it's Sean McVay to catch it.
No, but when you have Sean McVay, the plays you're calling are going to get the wide receivers a lot more open, so the catches are easier. DeAndre Hopkins has some of the most contested catches in the league, and you can go through it. Cooper Kupp's highlights a lot of the time, and I'm not disgracing Cooper Kupp. Motherfucker's wide open. DeAndre Hopkins, you go look, he went Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, and went, tink! Those are 3 Pro Bowlers, and he made them look like babies. And if if DeAndre Hopkins was with the Rams, the numbers would be insane. I understand Cooper Kupp's but DeAndre Hopkins has more skill. We can't deny that. DeAndre Hopkins has more talent, correct?
Yes.
I don't think it's close.
Yes.
And he puts up similar production in a worse system. I don't get why putting him one spot there. I don't get the disgrace in that.
Lucas?
I'm here.
I trust me. Talent is awesome, and I believe DeAndre Hopkins is talented. But same amount of games, and you can't. And again, this is what I hate. The coaches. Okay, then Amon-Ra St. Brown's a top 3 wide receiver. He's got one of the best offensive coordinators. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
that's the stupidest argument I've ever heard.
No, because when you're comparing player by player, you have DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, and if you're going to bring up the numbers, you have to look at numbers of both of them are good. You can't deny it.
Yeah,
but the situation, like you always say, situation matters. Even look at the quarterbacks. Just look at the quarterbacks. So then you go, you got Matt Stafford. Are you going to take him or Kyler Murray? I'm a big Stafford hater, but I'm even more of a Kyler Murray hater. And then you go to Colt McCoy? Are you kidding me?
Dude.
And you're going to say, why doesn't DeAndre Hopkins have that many yards? Because you had Colt McCoy throwing him the ball.
Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown had Jared Goff. So he should be top 5.
I'm very content with that. I'd much rather have Jared Goff than Colt McCoy.
That's not how this. No, I can't. I can't do that.
Let me ask you this:
I can't say, well, if Amon-Ra played with Patrick Mahomes, he'd be a top 5 receiver. So he's a top 5 receiver.
If Amon-Ra was playing if Amon-Ra was playing in Houston, do you think he would have the same numbers? No, and it's because.
But dude, that's not the argument.
I'm explaining how situation, especially for receivers, matters.
But when you go down that hypothetical rabbit hole, you could do this all day.
You can, and that's why I take it. And you just look straight at the players, and then I look at their skill sets, what they bring. Okay, and now if you want to start looking at numbers, and these players are very similar, their numbers are similar in yardage, in similar games, and now, you could do it with Mike Evans, for God's sakes. If he didn't have 40-year-old Tom Brady, who's on Patrick Mahomes, he'd be a 1,500-yard wide receiver. But when the numbers are close like that, the skill, in my opinion, favors DeAndre Hopkins. I'm taking the skill over the stats, especially when there's a bad situation, and one of them's coming off of major injury.
Well, and then I have one more thing before we get to Broders. Because I disagree with that, but we'll get to this CD. I
want in on this though, real quick.
Yeah,
let's hear it,
because there's 3 stats. It's actually one number 3 different times that you guys are seriously forgetting about. We might need Sam Flannel to hold his hand up. That's 1 ring that Cooper Kupp has.
God.
1 Offensive Player of the Year award that Cooper Kupp has, and 1 Super Bowl MVP award that Cooper Kupp has.
Do you want me to
when
answer
the
this
numbers
now?
are close, I'll take those intangibles over the other bullshit.
So let me ask you this: if you take Cooper Kupp off that Rams team,
let me
finish.
Stop doing this hypothetical bullshit.
Okay, so
you can't do that.
Let me ask you this: when Cooper Kupp was with Jared Goff, was he a top 10 wide receiver? No. When DeAndre Hopkins was in his 2nd year, he was a top 10 wide receiver.
But Amon-Ra St. Brown with Jared Goff as a top 10 wide receiver, and Ben Johnson.
I have him as a top 10 wide receiver.
I know, that's what we're saying.
You can't make the what if. That's not a thing. What I have in front of me is what they did last year. Same amount of games. One guy had double the touchdowns, more yards, and compared to Hopkins, 3% catch percentage. I get he played with Colt McCoy, but those are the numbers. I can't say because he played with Colt, he's a top 5 wide receiver. The hypothetical thing does not work.
If DeAndre Hopkins went to the Chiefs right now, would you say that man's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL?
No.
At the end of the year, do you think he would put up top 5 numbers?
Maybe.
No. No, because who you're taking off? Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase.
In a heartbeat.
Who?
So I'm taking off Stephon Diggs, for sure.
They're going to have Stephon's had 1,500 yards last 2 seasons.
DeAndre Hopkins has never even played close to a quarterback.
So they're going to have
Patrick
around
Mahomes.
the same yards.
I think that maybe around the same yards. DeAndre Hopkins smoking them in touchdowns though, and in the Then you could go back to skill, and I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins still.
Okay, but again, this isn't about. But again, if you want to rank your list off hypotheticals, go ahead. I went off skill set, position, like
if you
the
can
situation.
go off skill set, it's DeAndre Hopkins. If you can go off numbers, it's Cooper Kupp.
Okay, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. How about that?
Okay.
Because you having Waddle over CeeDee Lamb is because again, Braylon Edwards, who played NFL, who played in the NFL, played wide receiver, said about playing number two. Playing number two, being the number 2 wide receiver is so much easier because you have a guy on the other side that is the focus every week defensively. Who does CeeDee Lamb have? Please.
I mean, he had Amari Cooper when he first got here.
I'm talking about last season.
Last season, he had Noah Brown and not that much. But
so
he also
hold on.
That was a good situation, and that's probably exactly why he had the most receiving yards and targets of his career last season.
But let's look at the flip side. CeeDee Lamb, every single week, is the number 1 focus for opposing defenses.
100%.
Jalen Waddle has never been.
100%.
So
I'm not saying
so
that.
if we're basing it off hypotheticals, could I also say, well, CeeDee Lamb is in a much tougher position with more on his shoulders, and he still puts up 1,400. Because you could bring up, well, he had more receptions. Well, yeah, dude, when you're playing alongside Tyreek freaking Hill, you're going to benefit.
I agree with you that CD has more on his shoulders, but the thing where I'm disagreeing with you is Tyreek and Jalen Waddle pretty much play the same style of game. So that's why it kind of contradicts it, because every time Tyreek gets the ball, it's pretty much doing the same thing Jalen would have done. And Jalen still, on 75 catches, had 18.5 yards per catch. So not only was he catching it, and his catch rate is very high, he has one of the least amount of drops in the league, unlike CD, and he takes it to the house damn near 1/4 of the fucking time. So yeah, I get it. CD's in a great situation. He's a bigger guy, but if you're going to go off skill, Jalen Waddle can run every route in the route tree. Every one of them. The only thing CD really has on Jalen is size and 3 more yards.
Well, CD, to me, a true X. Like somebody that, again...
I'm not going to take that away from you, but then when you go to talent, it's Jalen Waddle's more talented.
Yes, yards after catch, he's better. Yards after catch, he's better.
Jalen Waddle runs better routes. He has better hands. Do you want? I think I have a video of the morning Slack right now. I could pull up right now. Jalen Waddle.
One route.
No, like 2 or 3 of them, but you can see.
Dude, okay.
What do you want me to play the whole film? Like it was a training video. Jalen Waddle's route running is so underrated, and he has some of the best hands in the league. He's one of the fastest guys in the league, right behind his teammate Tyreek Hill, which is why I'm saying it kind of contradicts what he does. Because if he was able just to open the field up every play, he would probably benefit a lot more, especially if he was in Dallas, where Dak likes to just chuck it deep every play into another safety. So I get why CD for you is 10. Or what if you had him at 9?
Yeah.
But he's just not for me. I've seen enough. CD's first couple years, they don't stack up to Jalen Waddle's, because CD was a number 2, Jalen Waddle was a 1, and Jalen Waddle put up more production.
Hey, we'll get to Broder's list. Okay, let's get to Broder's list because we could argue about this all day. Broder, put up his list and allow him to break it down. Because Broder actually had a interesting take, and I don't hate it.
This one hurt. Because Amon-Ra is one of my favorite receivers in the league as a fan, but I couldn't put him on this list. The more I got into the weeds of it and was deciding between Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans, I just need one more year out of Amon-Ra to prove it. And we were talking before the show, if we're drafting a new team today, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown 3rd. But the one I really want to point out, and you guys made my point a couple times over the last 2 segments, Mike Evans. How is he not on any of your top 10 lists? Since he's got into the league, every season, 9 straight seasons of 1,000 yards. Also, shout out to Booner. This is Booner's favorite wide receiver, so he's on my side with that. So, obviously, I win. We were talking some stats last night. You know, in 9 seasons, Calvin Johnson had, what was it? I just had it in my head. He had 83 touchdowns in 9 seasons. Mike Evans had 81. And I know, Lucas, you're going to go touchdown machine. Devontae Adams has 87 in his career. He also only has 4 1,000-yard receiving seasons with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. In Tampa Bay, we got Mike Glennon, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and the GOAT Tom Brady. But he's been consistent since the day he stepped foot in the NFL. I had to have Mike Evans in my top 10.
And that's the thing, too. I don't hate it. Like, the thing about St. Brown as a top 10 receiver, I'm not going to die on the hill of Amon-Ra as a top. Because, again, that 10 spot is really interchangeable. I would make the argument. But, again, if you put Mike Evans, clearly that's who you have on this list. And we pretty much have a consensus list, except for, around at that 10 spot. You have Mike Evans at 8 over Hopkins and CeeDee Lamb. But again, even though he wasn't as productive, he still is that dude. So to your point, any comment from that, Sam? Okay. Looking at Broder's list?
You know, I have a couple of things. So one, Mike Evans, obviously he having 1,000 yards receiving every single year you play in the NFL is insanely impressive. And to the point I made earlier about Jamar Chase, he came into the league as that dude. He didn't come to the league like Jamar Chase as already being one of the best receivers in the NFL, but sure, he was very, very productive. And if he has another 1 or 2 years more like that, especially given the fact that he was the #1 target on a Super Bowl team quarterback by Tom Brady, I think he's going to be a gold jacket guy. I guess my pushback on Mike Evans is that I've never really seen him be consistently dominant. Would you believe it? Would you believe it if I told you that he's only had 3 seasons in which he's had more than 1,200 yards? He's never led the NFL in any statistical category. He's never had 100 receptions. And here's the thing, Matt Broder, and this is where I kind of have to split hairs. There is so much talent in the NFL right now at the wide receiver position. And just one more thing. So much. Just one more thing. And Lucas, I know you will be lockstep with me on this. How in the name of hell is Mike Evans over DeAndre Hopkins? Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins, I get it, we're kind of looking at going into next year, but if you just look at who they are in terms of their legacy. DeAndre Hopkins has 3 first-team All-Pros. Mike Evans has 0. DeAndre Hopkins was actually more dominant in his peak. I mean, you could argue Mike Evans is still in his peak, but, you know, the last 4 years, he's kind of been the barely get over 1,000 yards merchant, 2 in the 1,000s and 2 in the 1,100s. He just always finds a way to sneak in. Mike Evans, to me, and this is saying it with no disrespect, although it'll be taken as disrespect, a little bit of a compiler. Never dominant, but put up big-time stats. Still great. Not top 10, not better than DeAndre Hopkins or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Those are totally fair points, and I happen to think DeAndre Hopkins is on the downhill, on the end, the tail end of his career is what I'm trying to say. And for all the reasons you said about Mike Evans is why I don't have him as a top 5 wide receiver.
And that's fair. And that's fair. Again, we're going to go to break. When we get back, we'll get to trivia. But again, I guess the overall point of this segment is Amon-Ra St. Brown a top 10 receiver? Is he qualified? And although you agree or disagree, it's worth a conversation because, again, that 10 spot, there's so much talent at wide receiver in the NFL. It's fun to have these conversations. But we'll go to break. When we get back, like I said, we'll go to trivia. But before we do that, Sam, can you tell everybody where they can get the best haircut?
Absolutely, and that, of course, is Lady Jane's. And I know you and Lucas are probably going to have to, freshen up somehow after that heated debate you guys just had. My goodness, Jeff, you were getting a little mean over there. But that is okay because we all do that sometimes, and it's all good. But if you all want to get a haircut, you got to go to Lady Jane's because they have me looking this sharp every single day. I just got a haircut very, very recently. And like I always say, I got to look good doing a show on the desk next to a stud like Jeff Iafrate. We got Matt Broder today, Lucas Klotz, and, of course, the lovely Gabrielle D. Phillips. And how would you like to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice? 1 for you and 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf as it is now open inside of the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. That is 5irongolf.com.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. And again, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, continue to chime in in the chat thread there. And if you're on the website, which you should be, check out our latest news, updates, articles, everything. Merchandise, which Broder continues to wear every single day. It looks fresh. Go check out all the new stuff coming out consistently there. If you can't catch the show live, you can go back and listen. Apple, Spotify, any podcast app you listen to. But now it's time for trivia.
Trivia. We're getting into a little music trivia today because, as I said earlier in the show, I have no clue what the taste of music is for Jeff or Flannel. So we're going to get into a little trivia first, and then we're going to do a little singer bracket.
Oh,
so let's get started. All right. Question number 1. How many Grammys has Beyonce won? A, none. B, 28. C, 13. D, 34.
I'll lock in.
I'll lock in. What? How many Grammys have Beyonce won?
I'd be useless.
No way. 34, clearly. Okay. All right. I'm good.
All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
C.
The answer is B, 28.
So
that's like.
So neither of you got it right.
That's essentially like, hey, I'm gonna start
0-0.
singing, and then after you start singing and start your music career, you pretty much win a Grammy every damn year.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's happened.
In no world should Beyonce have 28 Grammys. Come on. But anywho, that's beside the point.
Gabby didn't like that comment.
Legend killer. She does, Flannel.
I couldn't.
Exactly.
That's fair.
All right. Question number 2. How old was Rihanna when she signed her first record deal? A, 16, B, 20, C, 13, or D, 25?
Lock in.
All right, I got it.
Oh, wow. That was fast. All right. 3, 2, 1.
A.
B. No, I forgot which one is B.
That.
I want
Okay,
B.
well, the answer is A.
Boom.
16.
Boom.
So,
Is that how I sound?
Flannel.
Is that how I sound, Jim Iafrate?
Wrecking me with Rihanna.
Now you're just making fun now. That's where
was
you
that a guess, or did you actually know that?
I knew she was young. I didn't think she was 13. I knew her first album came out when she was in her
she's
teens.
13. That's some sus.
Yeah,
what's going on, man?
You're gonna be a star.
You'll be a star, kid.
Yeah, right.
13 years old, man.
All
That's
right,
weird.
1-0. Next.
We got any Drake on here?
What was Justin Bieber's first hit song? A, Baby, B, Boyfriend, C, One Less Only Girl, or D, One Time?
Lock in.
Of course you lock in. Yeah, lock in.
Flannel doesn't even need to think.
I got it.
3, 2, 1.
A.
D.
The answer is D.
Boom. As you say, I sound.
Wow. I don't know if I'd boom that one, Sam. I don't know about that
Drake,
one.
I gotta put more bass in my voice. Boom. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, dude. Baby, I mean,
That
Baby was
like
clearly after One
but it
Time
was
and One Less
after.
Only Girl.
clearly. How do you know that's clearly? How do you know that? What?
Yeah. He was much older when he did Baby.
Guys, I don't.
Jeff, we
know
would have been in the same boat, bro.
I don't know Justin Bieber, dude.
Bieber is the same level as Taylor Swift music to me. It's all the same. I'm not listening to that ever. At least by choice.
All right, this one is so easy. Okay, what band was Harry Styles a part of? A, 5 Seconds of Summer, B, One Direction, C, BTS, D, NSYNC.
Lock in. 100%.
It's okay. Lock in.
3, 2, 1.
B.
Thank God,
Yeah.
Jeff. I was really scared that you weren't going to get that one.
I was scared for you, man.
Jeff will
Jesus.
be cooking here soon. He'll get one.
All right, so we're now at what? 3-1?
Hey, you like Marcus Smarts? Don't let me get one. Don't let me get one.
One what?
Don't let me get one.
Go ahead.
Let's see what the next one is.
All right. What is Morgan Wallen's most recent album called? A, Dangerous, B, If I Know Me, C, One Thing at a Time, or D, Last Night?
I'm gonna lock in.
Dude, I know the song, but is that the album? All right, I got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
C.
The answer is C.
Good job, Jeff.
That's what I'm talking about. I know Last Night's a song, but I don't think that's the album,
at
too.
a time.
Good job, Jeff.
Don't let me get one, Sam.
Wow. 3-2.
All right, let's go.
Next. What is Taylor Swift's current tour called?
Ugh.
A. Eras Tour. B. Speak Now Tour. C. 1989 Tour. Or D. Taylor Swift Tour.
Lock in, 100% sure.
Dude, Sam.
You're going to get demolished.
You got this, Juicy.
I mean, it's not the Taylor Swift tour, okay? So, I hope not. I got it.
3, 2, 1.
A. Okay.
It is A.
Nice job.
4-2.
I just prayed for that one.
Attention
Dude, I
during
just
my Taylor.
prayed.
Okay, I guess you didn't pay attention during my Taylor Swift trivia.
Yeah,
4-2.
It's 4-3. Jeff,
4-3?
I'm only ahead by 1.
Okay,
I'm being
4-3.
honest.
Look at Flannel. What an
4-3.
honorable man.
Well, this one,
Jeff, you might be able to.
I hope you can get this
Yeah,
one.
you go. Here you go.
What year did Drake release his debut album? A. 2008. B. 2009. C. 2011. D. 2010.
Ooh.
Lock in.
Jeff, you can't miss this one.
I know. I thought it was 2006, but yeah, no, that's not on here. Okay, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
B.
It's D.
D?
You're
Really?
a big fan.
Wow.
2010.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
Big fan.
What was the album?
I'll sing every
Thank
song.
What do you got to
Later.
say
I
for
can
yourself
tell
right
you.
now, Jeff?
It's Thank You
Dang,
Later.
2010.
First Thank You
I
Later.
stick to the
Oh
question.
no! Oh, album. Yeah, I guess it was a mixtape, 2006. I don't know. He dropped something in 2006, but that wasn't his debut album. Yeah, that was an L.
That's fair.
That was an L.
That's
I can
fair.
still sing every song though, so suck it. Let's go. All right, move
Okay.
on.
What year was Lose Yourself released?
Oh, jeez,
A.
I can't get this wrong.
2000, B. 2002, C. 2001, or D. 2005.
Lock
Oh,
in.
jeez. Well, I'm gonna let so many people down here.
I think I know this one.
Why are they so close? Jeez. Okay. Yeah. All right, go.
3, 2, 1.
C.
B.
The answer is B. Flannel is correct.
Damn.
It
Mile.
is 5-3, 2002.
Damn. I was 1 year off.
Year of the goat.
Stupid.
It's when Klotzy popped out the
Well,
womb.
you were either going to be 1, 2, or 3 years off. So
Yeah.
not
At
that
least
you
I'm
were
one.
that close.
I saw 8 Mile. It didn't help me. It didn't help me in this trivia.
Okay.
Rabbit.
I get the 7 digits from your mother for $1 tomorrow.
Very nice, Matt Broder.
God bless you. Goodbye. All right. What is Bruno Mars's duo name with Anderson .Paak?
Lock in.
Oh.
A. RoboCop
sorry.
Funk. B. Lava Lamps. C. Silk Sonic. D. Mars and Pac.
These names are all stupid, man. Like, all these names are just stupid. I'm sorry. I got it.
3, 2, 1.
D.
C.
The answer is C. Silk Sonic.
Dude.
6-3.
Dude.
6-3.
Silk Sonic?
I talked about it with Chris
That
Platty
sounds like
on a
a
podcast
that sounds like a
one time.
stripper, like a male stripper that you might have rented out.
Why does it have to be
Sil-
male?
Silk Sonic? That sounds.
I don't think Sonic has a gender
See,
anymore.
I know Bruno Mars and Anderson, but I don't know they have a group. I don't know they have a duo.
Silk Sonic.
Yeah, well,
Now
that's
you
an
know.
L.
6-3. Come on, Jeff. Don't lose this badly. All right. How many Billboard #1 hits does The Weeknd have? A7, B10, C2, D14.
I'm gonna lock
Damn.
in.
I know The Weeknd. He's got a lot of #1 hits. I'm ready.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
A.
The answer is A. 7.
Dude, Flannel is just killing you right now.
7-3.
I don't understand how this is just common knowledge. Like Sam, while he's looking up stats, does he also look into how many Billboard #1s The Weeknd
He
has?
likes to be a well-rounded person. Can you blame him?
Flex on him, Sam. Sam, let him see it. Let him see it, Sam.
Oh
Show
my
him.
God.
Jeff,
That's what
I
he's
know
doing on you
things.
right now, Jeff. What do you got to say?
Jeff, I know things.
I know
Hey,
things.
he
Jeff.
can have all the pop culture stuff. I'll take the sports. That's our strength besides each other. So you can have the pop culture stuff. How many Elvis? Elvis? Are you shitting me? Elvis. All right, let's do this.
How many Grammys did Elvis win? A, 11, B, 10, C, 4, D, 25.
I'll lock it.
How many Grammys did Elvis win? I don't know, a shit ton?
I feel like he's got to be the Kareem of that era.
He was the Kareem.
Yeah, he just like...
I don't know. Okay, I'm ready.
Just a reminder, we are 7-3 right now. 7-3. 3, 2, 1.
D.
The answer is C.
Ooh.
4 Emmys.
All right.
I went for 25. Because if Beyonce can win, what'd she win?
Longer lifetime.
Yeah, dude died on a toilet out of nowhere.
Stupid.
Longer lifetime.
Stupid. At least people in the chat said D too, so I'm not alone. All right.
Next question. What Michael Jackson song has the most streams?
Lock in 100%.
Oh, okay. A, Thriller. B, Beat It. C, Bad. D,
Who do you think you are, dude? Who do you think you are?
Oh, dude.
I'll lock in.
Lock in.
3, 2, 1.
A.
The answer is D, Billie Jean.
How?
Should have taken a page out of the Hutchinson book.
Oh, that's a good point.
Dude.
Hey, I see.
I see what you did there, Gabby. I see what you did there.
Was that before or after he changed races? When was that?
How many number
That
one
was like
songs
the
does
mid-transition.
Okay,
Nicki
all right.
Minaj have? A, 5, B, 37, C, none, D, 19.
I'll lock in.
Dude, I swear to God, Sam.
Flannel bumps Nicki
If you
every
get
day
Nicki
on the way to
Minaj
work.
correct. All right. How many number one songs? I got it.
3, 2, 1.
D.
The answer is B.
Oh.
You're lucky you didn't get that right.
37.
That's a little steep. Okay, but that's beside the point.
I'm lucky. You're lucky you didn't get that right, Sam. If you can hit on all of them, just miss the Nicki Minaj one, please.
I did
Okay,
miss the Nicki
all
Minaj
right,
one.
Cool.
Well, let's see if he gets his next one. What is Cardi B's biggest hit song? A, Bodak Yellow. B, I Like It. C, WAP. Or D, Up.
Oh my God, WAP. Clearly. No, I don't know. All right, I'm ready.
I lock in.
3, 2, 1.
A.
C.
The answer is A, Bodak Yellow.
If you wanted to. That song is a banger, though.
No way, Flannel.
If you wanted to.
You get Cardi B right, I'm out. That's some Doja, dude.
That song is
You
a
are not
banger.
bumping Cardi B on the way to work.
Oh, I'll bump
This
Bodak
is why I
Yellow
had
any
to
day of
do
the week.
this. I had to figure it out.
No way. Is that anybody? Is that that's suspect right there?
That's not suspect. Bodak Yellow is like a pillar of pop culture.
It's the Carl Anthony Towns of it. It's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, but shouldn't be.
Oh, so he will be in the Hall of Fame.
According to Flannel.
Easy says Cardi did snap.
Thank you, Easy. Thank you, Easy.
Don't know. Easy.
Easy's like a female rapper fiend. I'll come home sometimes and he'll just be listening to like Cardi, be like, hold on, I gotta listen to this real quick. It happened the other day and he's just listening. He's like, it was Cardi, I think Ice Spice and Nicki. He's like, yeah, this shit's kind of hard. I was like, bro, what are you talking about now?
Well, how many more do we have? Because
We
we
have two
probably
questions
okay.
left.
We'll go to break. We'll get back and we'll continue it just to have some
we'll
fun.
wrap it
here.
up. We'll let Sam win, and then we'll check out your guys' bracket. Okay?
Yes,
Stupid.
sounds good.
Sam, do you help make trivia?
No.
Is there something you want to tell me?
I don't want to tell you anything. I didn't win
can
last
see.
week.
Are you texting Abby saying add Cardi B onto the trivia?
No, I just
Add Nicki
have,
Minaj on there.
I just have a baseline knowledge of music and pop culture. That's all I have, Jeff.
Oh, it's all right, Sam. I still love you. Let me tell you about our friends over at SMA real quick because the sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast is The S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here at woodwardsports.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're so happy to have you here on this Friday morning, kicking off your weekend, and we have a little bit of trivia. So we're going to wrap up trivia and then go into the bracket, because if this trivia has done anything, it's just confused me more as to what Flannel's taste in music is. So we're going to try and figure it out.
I'm a very complex individual, but go on, Gabby, sorry.
2 questions left. What year was the song A Milli released? A, 2005, B, 2002, C, 2008, or D, 2007?
I'll lock in.
Yeah, I got it.
That was fast. 3, 2, 1.
C.
D. I'll go D.
You have to pick an answer and then say it.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm processing my answer, and then you say it, and I'm like, I have to say it. I'll go D. Why not? D.
The answer is C.
Okay.
A millionaire. I'm a young
I know the song, Sam. Trust me. That's a song
Nigerian.
actually.
Okay, go.
That's a song I respect that you know.
The Carter 3 is one of the greatest rap albums of all time.
Undoubtedly. So that's fine. You passed that. You passed that skill for me. Now, although I was a year off, I'm cool with you listening to Lil Wayne, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. You know, whatever you like.
All right.
Whatever you like, Sam.
All right. Final question. Just the nail in the coffin for Jeff. What year was Snoop Dogg discovered by Dr. Dre?
I don't know.
A, 1995, B, 1989, C, 2000, or D, 1992?
Lock in.
I saw NWA.
100%.
I saw NWA once, so let's see if pays off here, okay? I'm ready.
Are you actually ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, on the tip of your tongue.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.
D.
The answer is D. And
1,
Jeff goes
2,
down.
3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance.
No.
No, we about to rip. I'm getting the microphone first. Okay, I'm stumbling around.
No,
I'm stumbling
just
around.
stop while you're ahead. Stop while you're ahead right now.
Baby.
Oh, that song is good though. Yeah, that song is good.
And
Death
there you
Row
have
is
it.
the record that
winner,
pays me.
once
Congrats, Sam.
again, is Flannel. Flannel is the winner. Congratulations.
I'm dead.
Flannel's the winner. But
you know what comes with winning? Cardi B and Nicki Minaj merch. Congratulations, Sam Flannel.
I make money moves. I knew there was a lyric that I was missing. That's the one. Let's go.
okay, so we have a lot of unanswered questions here. So we're gonna throw up the bracket, please, Broder. And I want to see on each side who you guys have to go down head to head. Okay?
Oh,
We're just
wow.
gonna have you narrow down your favorite music. Okay?
All right, we'll start here. Right side.
No. Flannel gets the right side. You get the left side.
Get put in your place, Jeff.
Oh, I get the left. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's
And
go.
read them off because on the screen it's kind of hard to see what the name says.
Can
so
I
read
just-
them off.
If you want to turn the brightness down on that image, that might help that there.
So,
but we'll start.
Can we just choose the two?
Get
do we
better,
have to do
Broder.
this
Keep
like
going.
bracket?
Boom! Leave it there, Broder.
There we go.
Can we just choose the two instead of doing like a bracket? Like, can I just pick who I want up here from like the top to the bottom? Because I already know who I want.
Let's go through the bracket. Don't change my rules.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Rihanna over Beyonce.
Wait. Okay, let me hold on here. Rihanna. Okay, now Flannel. Who do you choose between Bruno Mars and The Weeknd?
And let us know who you're choosing between, because it is still a little hard to see.
Yeah.
Between Bruno Mars and The Weeknd, I go with The Weeknd.
Okay. Now Jeff, between Justin Bieber and Harry Styles,
give me Biebs.
who would you choose? Okay.
Yep, give me Biebs. I don't know a damn thing about Harry Styles.
And Flannel, between Elvis and Michael Jackson, who would you choose?
Michael Jackson.
Great. Between Morgan Wallen and Taylor Swift, who would you choose, Jeff?
Morgan Wallen. Clearly.
Good call, Jeff. Good call. Red
Between
pill move.
Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, who would you choose?
Oh, this is
Flannel?
tough for Sam.
Flannel,
This is a tough one, Sam.
Nicki
Two of the
Minaj.
Mount Rushmores.
Nicki Minaj. Not my erroneous, Lucas. Nicki Minaj.
Okay. Now, between Drake and Eminem, who would
Just
you choose?
This is mean.
Jeff?
You know.
Drake.
Yeah, this is Drake. We'll take Drake.
Wow.
Yeah.
Between-
Not that this isn't about who's better. It's just like my knowledge. I listen.
Drake is better, by the way. Good choice.
Yeah, Drake. I know more of. Love Eminem, but I'll know more about Drake. Stick with
Between
that.
Lil Wayne and Snoop Dogg, who would you choose?
I'm gonna go Lil Wayne.
Okay. All right, Jeff. Your choices are between Rihanna and Bieber.
It's gonna be Rihanna.
Good call,
And-
Jeff.
Flannel. What are your choices between The Weeknd and Michael Jackson?
I am gonna make a lot of people mad. I'm going with The Weeknd.
Okay. See, we're learning a lot about Flannel today. Between, I don't even know why I'm asking. I'm just gonna fill in Drake between Drake and Morgan Wallen. You don't even have answers anymore.
It's
Drake.
It's
All
Drake.
right. Between Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne, who would you choose, Flannel?
Lil Wayne for sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right. Now, Jeff, you have the choice between Rihanna and Drake.
Drizzy.
And Flannel, you have the choice between The Weeknd and Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Oh,
So
that's
our
a good.
last
That's a hey.
two
That
standing
The
are
mentor and the
Drake
mentee.
and Lil Wayne.
All right, let's go.
That's wild to me. What would be your choice to actually listen to, Flannel? I'm like so thrown off now.
So between what's the context?
You're
of the
driving
question?
you're driving
Yeah.
into work. You're taking a cruise in your car. Who do you turn on the aux?
All
Who-
right.
Who's coming on?
My favorite band of all time is actually the Beatles. They are not on this list. I also
The Beatles,
That
Nicki Minaj,
I
Cardi
believe.
B. You know
That
everything,
I
dude.
believe, but this is, yeah.
I listen to a lot of rap, as you know. I listen to a lot of metalcore, like 90s alternative rock, like Radiohead. I love Radiohead. I'm a big Pearl Jam guy, big like Oasis guy, all pop punk, pretty much a little bit of everything. Little classic rock.
He knows everything.
I do.
You get down to
So how
Lil
does this
Nas
work?
X.
Drake versus Lil Wayne?
No.
That's it. So I think we should put a poll in the chat and see who wins.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll put a poll up real quick.
Throw a poll up. Let's just see.
Let the
Flannel's
people
team
decide.
Or Jeff's team.
Hey, listen, boys. Let me sell you something right now, okay? Listen, I understand the easy choice to you would be Lil Wayne. Just who has the most number one hits of all time? That's what you got to look at. All right, who has the most hits? Just please take my side on this one. Sam already got his win. Vote for Drake. Jesus, I can't let this man win one more time.
You're
All right,
campaigning for him now.
hit the Drake. Vote for Drake. Even if you don't want Drake, just hit the damn button and hit Drake, please. All right.
So this is
for my ego. This is big. This is for my ego. That's all I have left.
This is a tough one because between Lil Wayne and Drake, if I were to rank them on my list of artists, they would be right around the same category. So I won't be mad if you pick Lil Wayne or Drake. I think they are both great. I love listening to them both. And see, I'm never going to look into the camera and lie to you. I'm not going to campaign super hard for Lil Wayne over Drake. Pick whichever one you want. If you want to
like
throw
that.
Jeff a bone, go ahead.
But to be honest with you, I can't be mad if you choose Wayne because I love Wayne too. So.
Right, and I wouldn't be mad if you chose Drake.
It's all good. You're good. You chose Wayne.
Do you strictly just listen to Drake, or
No, I listen to a lot of rap in general. I like Drake. He's my favorite artist, but I'll listen to anybody. Lucas hates when I bring up Russ, but I like Russ
he's
a lot.
cringe, dude.
Drake,
I mean,
Little Baby, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. I mean, I don't really care. I like them all. I'm not mad if Lil Wayne's gonna win. I'm not mad as long as it's close, guys. Can we make it somewhat close so I don't get humiliated? That's all I'm asking for. All right,
now.
Back me up a little bit here. That's all I'm asking for. Well, that was fun. Took an L.
that's all we have for this
But we bounced back.
trivia today.
Big Sean. Shout out Big Sean.
Now that's the guy I do listen to, Big Sean.
Yep.
There you have it.
All right, well, it's time for mailbag, or excuse me, what's trending? We'll get
we
to
hopping
it.
into that? We going to break first?
Yeah, we'll go to break.
Yeah.
And before we do, I gotta tell you about our friends at Guardian Alarm because trust me, Drake's house has Guardian Alarm. You ain't getting in there. Lil Wayne's house has Guardian Alarm. You ain't getting inside. But I'll tell you why. Because they got customized solutions from real experts. They got 24/7 professional monitoring, and they have technology backed by people. All you got to do is call 1-800-STAY-OUT
Yep.
for more information.
like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit. But we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It is now time for What's Trending with Lucas. Lucas, what do you got for us?
Alrighty, so we kind of went through, there's a lot of stuff on Twitter yesterday, but one thing I did want to kind of chat about, if I can find it, because I pulled it up earlier, go figure. But it says, this is Good Morning Football, NFL Network. They released their all underrated offense, and there's some things that I love about it. But there's one player I can't stand that is on this list. And so they have it listed. Quarterback, our very own Jared Goff. At running backs, they have Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mike Evans, Allen Lazard, Terry McLaurin. At tight end, Cole Kmet. So I want to hear from you guys first. Looking at this list, what would you change about it? And then what do you love about it?
At least for me, underrated. I don't know if I'd pick Najee.
Yeah.
Because Najee coming out, I thought, well, I'm excited to see Najee in Pittsburgh. But at this point, I don't think he's underrated. I think he's just fairly rated.
I think he's overrated. I think Najee's overrated at this point.
I don't hear a lot of Najee love. But also, I don't think he deserves a ton of love either.
I think a lot of people still act like he's this guy that is one of these transcendent backs, especially maybe it's there's a lot of Steelers fans in Toledo for some reason. I couldn't tell you why, but I come from a land of Najee lovers, and I don't understand it. Out of college I did, but after watching last year, Jaylen Warren is the best back in that team.
No,
I'm sorry.
Najee Harris should not be on any underrated list. No back can turn a 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 8 quite like Najee Harris.
I swear.
Before you put him on this list, how about you average more than 4 yards per carry in any season that you played? Actually, he has not thus far. But I keep hearing about him. I agree. There is a cult of Najee Harris people. They do exist, Jeff. I do like the Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's eons better than Najee Harris. I don't think he gets his shine. Another one, though, is Allen Lazard is underrated. Wasn't last year his first 700-yard season ever? How? In what world is he underrated?
Well, now he's going to the Jets.
Yeah, I think he's fairly rated. He's just mid.
Yeah, he's mid.
I think he's mid. Allen Lazard, I don't know. Maybe it's because of last year and the Packers and not really having anybody. It's like, hey, Allen Lazard, guys, watch out. Now he's at the Jets. Ooh. Which, technically, Sam, he's wide receiver 2 on an AFC championship team, according to you.
I mean, shoot, when you got a wide receiver 1 like Garrett Wilson and you got, breakout year incoming for Allen Lazard, obviously. I'd say what he is now.
Oh, what do we think? 1,300 yards for Allen Lazard? 1,400 yards for Allen Lazard? What do you think, Sam?
Between 750 and 1,000.
No way. No shot. None. No.
I'm going to be honest. Is it wrong to say, at least for me, although Allen Lazard's intriguing, they have McCole Hardman on the Jets, and I like him.
Yeah,
I like McCole Hardman.
They have McCole Hardman. They have Breece Hall, who's going to be underrated coming out of the backfield, catching passes, and Garrett Wilson in itself. And they have Randall Cobb, who honestly would probably get more receptions than Allen Lazard this year. So I have no faith in Allen Lazard. But yeah, the Najee Harris one blew my mind. What has Najee Harris done to be proven underrated? But, Broda, what do you think about this whole list?
Love the quarterback. I'm cool with Najee. Instead of Allen Lazard, I'm subbing in like a Tyler Lockett or even Amari Cooper. They're guys that are like just outside my top 10 that people forget how good they are. Mm-hmm. Also, if you want to go a little younger, Richie James, wide receiver who just went over from New York Giants to the Chiefs, playing with Patrick Mahomes in that Juju Smith-Schuster spot alongside who's the other guy who just came over? Kadarius Toney. I think that could be huge. And then we'll go back to the Jets. Tyler Conklin. I think he's going to have a big role. Although it's a crowded wide receiver and tight end room, they got 4 pretty good tight ends. I think Tyler Conklin goes a little under the radar. And with Aaron Rodgers,
hey, LCN native, LCN product. Let's go. For my backyard as well. I love Tyler Conklin, not just more than just because he's from here. Dude was productive with Joe Flacco, Mike White, Zach Wilson. Yeah. Give him Aaron Rodgers. I'm excited. That's a good little input there for Tyler Conklin. What else you got for us, Lucas?
All right, this is pretty much the only other thing. This came out a couple days ago, but Jordan Poole is looking rough.
What's up, Wizards fans? It's JP here checking in. Extremely excited to be here. Extremely excited to start a new chapter. I need recommendations, so if you guys have anything, list, food, let me know. Let's get going.
He's looking rough. I don't know. Look, Draymond's smack not only kicked him off the Warriors, but it averaged about 5 years on his life. He looks like Walt Frazier right now. But my whole question is, what do you guys expect out of Jordan Poole? He's going to Washington. We're all going to assume it's going to be his team, basically, because who else the fuck do they have?
Kyle Kuzma.
No, because he's gone. He wants $30 million for some reason. So what do you think Jordan Poole will translate to in Washington?
Oh, he's going to eat. Like and that's what, like, we can laugh at Jordan Poole all we want, and it is funny. I mean, he is funny as it is. Like, they asked him about Draymond Green, he was like, just changed his head. He's like, I ain't even talking about Draymond Green. Jordan Poole's funny. He could shoot, a little inconsistent, but in Washington, in that wasteland, he's going to be able to put up as many shots as he wants. So, not saying they'll win any games. They're going to be one of the worst teams, probably the worst team in the NBA. But he'll average 20-ish points per game. He'll average probably, I would say, 23, 24 a game.
I would agree with 23, 24, but he might do it on 42% from the floor and 33% from three and just jack up a bunch of shots. But I will say this about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was very, very integral to that 2022 Golden State Warriors championship team. A lot of people kind of disrespect him because of what he did in last year's playoffs. But don't if you're a Warriors fans, you should be grateful for Jordan Poole, not clowning him. And I still hate that so many people took Draymond Green's side when he literally punched Jordan Poole. You heard people saying, like, well, Jordan Poole probably deserved it. Draymond Green, I even heard this one. He's from Saginaw. No, you don't punch your teammate. And it obviously hurt the team last year because of their terrible road record and the fact that they lost in the second round of the playoffs to a Lakers team, which I keep getting told by all of you is led by LaFlop and Data Davis.
Greg Davis, you mean?
That's what you guys tell me. That's what you guys tell me.
But... Well, go ahead, Jeff. My bad.
No, I mean, that's all I was going to say. What do you got, Lucas?
No, I just want to see what Broder thought of it. Being a Michigan man, a former alum, what do you think the fellow Wolverine's going to do this year in Washington?
I'm with Flannel in terms of how the Golden State Warriors fan base should be thinking about Poole, but I'm not expecting much out of him. I mean, he's going to fill up the offensive stat sheet. He's going to average 25, but the dude can't play defense. No. That Wizards team, they aren't going to be playing much defense
that Warriors team, to your point, protected a lot of what he can't do, and now he'll be exposed in that area. But yeah, I mean, I could see him getting 23, 25 a game easily. He's going to get like double the shots easily. But again, more of the focus will be on Jordan Poole, so he won't be efficient. But it is what it is. Is all you got?
Yep.
All right, appreciate you, Lucas. We'll get to mailbag next. You're going to want to get your questions ready for me, Sam, Matt, Gabby, Lucas, whoever you got. Drop the questions below. But before we do that, Matt, could you tell us about our friends over at Big Boy?
I sure can, because Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy.
It's back?
It's back. If you want to go see the =1 overall pick in the inaugural Big D Energy Fruit Draft, Strawberry is picked first, so you can try the classic breakfast items. A reach? Strawberries?
I'm kidding.
You can put them in hotcakes, so you get your strawberry hotcakes, your mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, you can put strawberries in your bacon chicken wrap, or cool off with the refreshing summer splash salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including their berry delicious classic, guess what, strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, or guess what, one more time, strawberry hot fudge cake. Get them all and more at Big Boy.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Almost that time. Almost at the end of the show here. Thank you guys for sticking with us through the end of the show, through trivia, and still being here. If you're on YouTube, don't forget, subscribe, like the stream. If you can't watch the stream, it's all good. Go back and listen on any podcast app you use. Don't forget, leave a 5-star review, because we'd really appreciate that. If you're on the website, check out the latest news, updates, articles, merchandise, and so much more, woodwardsports.com. It is now mailbag time, and we'll get to some of these questions here for everybody else. Jack says, Mailbag Jeff, when is the fantasy football draft? We don't have a date set, but that league will be created sometime in the near future, featuring a lot of people in this room, actually.
Everybody's getting scalped.
I can't wait.
By storm.
What'd you say?
Everybody's getting scalped. There's not a chance. You don't stand a chance against me in fantasy this year. I wasn't here last year.
Hey, just because you take... Listen, I get you think Sam Laporte is a Hall of Famer, but you're going to take him in the second round.
No.
and you're gonna eat crow because of it.
I'm gonna eat crow. What are you, 80?
I have a
strat. I know it's a saying, but it's like a old term. But as you say, flannel for the old heads. But you're not touching. You're not touching me.
Answer 14, mailbag. Who runs the fastest 40 in the crew right now?
He doesn't want to say the answer to this one.
I think it's Lucas. I think you got me by a little bit.
A little bit. Well, I'll leave it there. But as long as that helps you sleep a little better at night.
Because I can run for distance too.
You'd get me maybe in like the first 10. After that, it's chops. It's chops.
Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think you'd be quicker than me, but over longevity, I think I can get you.
I run. Runner. Track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star. All right, let's get back to these questions. Jesse says, mailbag Sam, what if Michigan gets to the college football playoff and takes another L? Does JJ come back for a senior year or leave for the NFL?
I would probably say he leaves.
You will
for
be
the
in
NFL.
shambles, though.
Oh, I will absolutely be in shambles. I will come back to work off of probably a weekend bender, maybe still with like the same shirt I was wearing a couple days ago, with like stains on my shirt, wearing sunglasses, hungover. That will be me if Michigan goes 1 and done in the college football playoff, and then you can all roast me. But you know what? It's not gonna happen. Incoming national championship for Michigan football this year. Book it.
Jack says, mailbag, Lucas, how do you have such a big football brain?
You know?
Yeah, Lucas.
It's one of those God-given things. It's just like I was born on this earth to talk football.
It's like you get sent like things.
I swear.
No, it's like you're sitting there.
Here, it's like, oh, money thought. You need to spit this out.
Yeah.
You need to start the narrative.
It's kind of like when you're sitting there and you're like, wait.
Put my feet up.
You're like, wait. Laporta's a Hall of Famer.
It's just like hits you. And then all the dots start connecting, like in The Hangover. They start going betting. Well, you haven't seen The Hangover, but
yeah, all the equations they start adding up,
and then it equals Laporta Hall of Famer. You watch. It's a God-given skill.
Eric Allen says, mailbag, what do you guys think of this new rule? Teams will be penalized for handing the ball off forward. Handoffs will have to be behind the quarterback or equal to the quarterback. Sam? What do you think about that?
I didn't know that was a rule.
Yeah.
Do people actually do that?
Well, I guess I don't know if it has something to do with the quarterback sneak that the Eagles have specialized in and every team hates. I haven't heard about the rule either, but I'm assuming that over time, that quarterback sneak that Eagles do, there's going to have to be something that they do.
They have to modify that rule.
Although I don't think they should, because technically you're able to do the play, but it's almost impossible to stop.
It is impossible. Literally, if you're Jalen Hurts and if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, if you ran that play every single time, you would probably score a touchdown on every single drive. It is impossible to stop. What were they on 4th down last year? On 4th and 1, like 100%. It's ridiculous.
Crazy like
it was. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to change that rule.
And to Eric's point, he's alluding to it says the competition committee proposed making handing the football forward an illegal forward pass.
What?
So yeah, I've not heard anything about that, but I will do more research because that is pretty significant, Eric, to be honest with you. And Brandon chimes in. He says the rule change will only impact dual threat quarterbacks who run the read option. Yeah, that is significant, especially for guys like Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, so on and so forth. But there you have it. We'll get to some more questions. Jack says, mailbag, can we all agree that Michigan's schedule is a joke?
You can only play who's in front of you.
Oh, that is such a Michigan answer. I swear to God.
No, but that's fair. That's why a lot of times I fell off of Ohio State fans because they would act like they were God and they're beating up in Arkansas State in week 3. It's like, dude, let's relax, okay? So, yeah, I agree with Flannel here.
Broder, you're the man. You're the man for that.
Steve-O says, mailbag, Jeff, something's odd here about trivia. Sam, did you write all the questions and then give them to Gabby before the show?
No, I mean, like I said, I just have a baseline
No, he's just
knowledge.
an AI. He's just not real with trivia. The answer's just boop, boop, boop. Just register it immediately.
Oh, Jeff and all the audience, you are going to learn so much more about me as time comes. I actually really like this day because of that. You get a little bit of insight into how this big old brain works.
Big Show picks, mailbag. I have a Royals 5K Dynasty League draft today. I can pick anybody off the Broncos or Giants. If I want to give up Keenan Allen, what would you guys do?
You can get anybody?
Off the Broncos or Giants? Well, Giants, I mean, if you're talking, it depends on the position. Waller's about to eat this year. That's an option. And Keenan Allen's tough because every time I have Keenan, he's not healthy. It pisses me off. So I don't want to advise you to do anything and it doesn't work out.
What about Javonte Williams?
Javonte's a good one too.
Coming back from that ACL.
Yeah, he'll be good too.
Lucas caping up for Javonte Williams.
I
That
love
is the most
And
on-brand
Barkley,
thing of all
obviously.
time. And it's no disrespect to Javonte Williams.
And Barkley obviously is a viable option there. Depends on what position you need, but Barkley's a great one too. Especially
eat one flannel.
Depending on what happens with the contract. If he doesn't get a deal done, he's gonna make you pay. So great one. Let's see. Jesse asked, Mailbag, do you guys like the idea how the NBA insert? We already answered the NBA in-season tournament. I hate it. No, and he says, I bet Jeff likes it. I actually don't. I hate it. And someone asked this question yesterday. Maybe it's because I just hate change. I think that's part of who I am. I just don't like change. But the other part of it is I do think it's stupid because in sports, the number one goal should be the championship. I hate these stupid-ass in-season tournaments. I think it kind of distracts from the bigger goal. Like $500,000 if you win the tournament. Like, guys, to these players, that's chump change, man. Like, to guys that are making $25, $30 million annually, I got to go participate in an in-season tournament for $500,000 in a participation trophy. And then later on in the season, I got to ramp it up again for the playoffs to win an NBA title. I think it's stupid.
No,
but it is what it is. Can't change anything. Mailbag, who has a better season? Cy Gray says, Gibbs or Swift?
Gibbs.
Not even a question.
Yeah, I think health-wise, it's going to be Gibbs. But
Gibbs.
We'll see. Swift, I mean, in a contract year with that old line, watch him stay healthy. This is the luck we'd have. He stay healthy, goal for over 1,000, 600 yards receiving, just eats. But I don't think it will happen. I think he gets hurt.
Gibbs, if he can stay somewhat healthy, maybe, just maybe, he can get to 700 rushing yards. But that's a stretch.
Won't lead the NFC?
He will not lead the NFC. That was one of the worst takes of my life, and now I've done a complete 180 on DeAndre Swift.
At least you own it.
What about this one? Big Con 51. Who has a bigger year to jump, Hutch or Jaden Ivey? It's different sports, but it's a good one.
I am going to go with Aiden Hutchinson. See, and this might get some people mad at me. I don't think Jaden Ivey is going to be a star. I think he's going to be very, very good. I think he's a guy that can average 20 a game, maybe 6 assists, hopefully get his efficiency up. But I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to one day be a defensive player of the year. And this year he gets about 13.5 sacks, as I said. I go Aiden Hutchinson.
You know what? It's tough.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little higher on Ivy too. I think Ivy's an all-star caliber player with his talent. But bigger jump, meaning what they did last year to year 2, that's important. And Ivy, what he averaged, 16 points last year. I mean, if he gets to 18, 20 points, couple point jump, if Aiden could get to 13, 14 sacks, I'll go with Hutch. Because, again, with Ivy, he's playing with a lot more guys that are going to take away opportunities. Hutch is the dude on that defensive line, so I'll lean Hutch as well. But that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your Friday morning to tune into the Morning Woodward Show. We appreciate you guys for sharing and showing love. Don't forget, before you leave, like the video, hit the subscribe button, and if you're on the website, go check out, again, all of the articles we currently have and are still coming out on the daily. You can check out merchandise as well, wonderful merchandise. We will be back Monday for a packed show for you guys. Until then, from Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Matt Broder, Gabby D. Phillips, Alex Westfall, and Lucas Klotz, we thank you, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.